Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back, and we've got kind of a comic double shot for you right now, as you can tell from the title and thumbnail. The first part is, I was very lucky to win one of Brian LCS's 600 subscriber giveaways. I actually was also lucky enough to win a comic mix pack during his 500 subscriber giveaway, and much like this one, I was unavailable to watch the live stream and was informed over social media that I had won. So I opened it up because envelopes, scissors, and all that we got here. But I do know what is in it, but I can't wait to show it off. We got start off with a note. Zach, congrats on your win. Thanks for all of your support, Brian LCS. And we got a pair of Comic Book Community Award stickers. Excellent. They're getting added to the thing. And also, just to remind everybody that the nominations are open, so get down there and vote. I'll throw a link to them. But I was lucky enough to win myself an official Comic Book Community Awards 2022 t-shirt. That is an awesome-looking shirt. I love the logo. Really nice. And Brian, thank you so much for that. Oh, and on the back, we got cbcawards.org, #GrowTogether. I'll throw a link to them down below and to Brian. Brian, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm getting all up in the microphone for a second as I fix this. But really appreciate it. Really love the shirts. Really, really like it. So very much appreciated. Stickers again, link to down below for the Comic Book Community Awards. Nominations are open for their 2022 awards show. And if you're available, check it out when it comes along in December. It's a fun time. And it'll get you a lot more comic channels to check out. So pause for 1 second. Let me get organized, and we're going to move on to part 2 of this video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it was quite fortuitous. I had to straighten out Cole's sticker there because this is another comic VR for Bearded Comic Bro and Cole's Comic Claims. Links to both of them down below. I jumped into one of them recently and completely just blanked on what the subject matter of it was. Oh, I'm sure it'll come to me. But this one is the top 10 villains. I had a lot of fun looking through all the comics just to see what kind of villains we had, because I'm more of a villain type. Because do not forget that without a great villain, you cannot have a great hero. But we're going to start off with one that I picked up in a mix pack from all these years ago. Number 1 edition. I love the way the cover looks, and it is the undead, psychopathic, serial killer Evil Ernie. And with a description like that and a name like that, it doesn't get a whole lot more villainous than that. And this is a number 1. Not his first ever appearance. He started off as a comic back in the 90s, I think, and Dynamite picked him up within the past decade. But looks like this is the first appearance of Evil Ernie for Dynamite. Moving on, we got kind of a little vintage one. We've got Destroyer, number 0, from April of, what year? 1994, according to the claim ad for the Wolverine. But we have Destroyer, number 0, as said before. Now, Destroyer, I read the book, and because I read this one, I didn't realize there was a tiny bit of backstory. But Destroyer is actually the evil part of a superhero by the name of Solar, who broke himself into 2 parts. And Solar remains the good part, but Destroyer here is the evil side. And I guess this was the first edition of his little run. So that's number 2. It was an interesting one. It was like a literal Jekyll and Hyde split. I kind of liked it. We have Batman Eternal from the New 52, number 38. The reason I chose this is that there in the background is Bane. Finally, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I did not care for the recent Bane, the "I was born in the darkness." No. I really can't recall anybody that's done Bane properly, even going back to the bad Batman movie with Poison Ivy. They had the strength part of it right, but they basically made him a lumbering Hulk, and that is not the case. He is a highly intelligent character. Anyway, he's an interesting character, which is why I chose him, and I'm done rambling. Moving on, we have another Batman, Shadow of the Bat, number 97, squaring off against the Reaper. I know that the story was based off of a serial killer Batman was after, but the cover displays the Grim Reaper, and you do not get much bigger of an enemy than death. Moving on, I think this is the halfway mark. This is Ultimate X-Men number 70, featuring one of my favorite villains and one side villain that I kind of dig, and one comic hero that I cannot stand. That would be Cyclops. Not a fan of him. Toad up there. He's okay, but I can take him or leave him, but I chose this one specifically for Fred Dukes, a.k.a. The Blob. Moving on, we're going some Wolverine. This is Wolverine number 51, and it's one of the most iconic battles, Wolverine versus Sabertooth, and it's always good to see Sabertooth. Moving up, we have a Generation X versus M-Plate. I actually thought M-Plate had been around a little longer, but turns out it seems that he was just created specifically to screw with Generation X. Definitely a creepy looking villain. Let me get a little picture of him. Yeah, I mean, he is the gas mask and the whatever's going on. It's a very, very interesting but weird read. So he definitely gets a spot. Now we're going to kind of go a little old school with Acts of Vengeance Iron Man. And this is number 251 from 1989. We have Iron Man and the Wrath of the Wrecker. I thought it was just too good to pass up. The Wrecker, a villain based off of, well, as you guessed it, a metal worker or metal wrecker going after Iron Man. It was too good to ignore. And now the final two are actually going to feature one of my favorite villains of all time. We have X-Men Legacy, number 209, mainly for this gentleman back there. We've got Magneto, but we've got the Sentinel. We've got, oh, is that a weird, creepy, disturbing Toad? Yes, it is. We got the Scarlet Witch. Is that, can't remember, is that Quicksilver? I know he had a bit of a villain run. But I've always dug Magneto as a character, the backstory, everything, and we're going to end with this one. Magneto, number 2, The Masquerade. Just one of my favorite characters, and brought to life on the screen very well by Sir Ian McKellen. An interesting fact about him, Sir Ian McKellen is actually the only person to ever portray a Nazi, as he did in the Stephen King movie Apt Pupil, and a Holocaust survivor, as he did as Magneto. So, just random little thing. These are my top 10 villains for Bearded and Cole's VR. Top 10 villains. I just love that evil Ernie. I love the green. I love the design. Just get a nice little close-up of that. So there you go. My ramblings are done for today. Again, links to everybody, Brian LCS, the Comic Book Community Awards, Bearded Comic Bro, Cole's Comic Claims. Everything will be down below. Let me know what you think. Hope everybody's doing well, and have a good one.